Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flake Show. My name is Chris Wong. What a very interesting day today. A lot of different rumors are going about, and it's just Twitter feed just went nuts all over. But let me get into this real quick first. Is that Wonder Woman 2? Apparently, Warner Brothers had secured different domain names, and a bunch of them were kind of sounded familiar to what we've heard before. Like they were going to call Wonder Woman 2 Wonder Woman Lives, Wonder Woman Rises. Like, what is this? Superman Lives, Dark Knight Rises. It's like they're cycling all these names that they could have said or have done before. Wonder Woman Returns, all this kind of stuff. Wonder Woman 2, that's fine. I think that's okay. Or Wonder Woman, and then something on the bottom. I know there are a lot of people who are great people out there who actually put some awesome subtitles in there, but we'll see. They're just securing domain names. It's nothing new. We've done that before. There a lot of different movies have done that before, including like Batman versus Superman, Superman versus Batman, and all that kind of stuff. So there's nothing to get excited about, but knowing that a title will probably be coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. Now, one of the greatest things that have ever happened in my life is my hero director actually followed me on Vero. I mean, I just looked on Vero and I scrolled through. There were so many different things, and then I see Zack Snyder is following you. I'm like, what? That's amazing. Well, if you're watching this, Zack Snyder, just say you're a huge inspiration. I'm a huge fan of your movies. You've probably heard already from lots of different people, but it's so awesome. Thanks for following me, and I'm not gonna be able to speak now because I'm thinking if you're watching this or not. It's so embarrassing, and I don't know, whatever. But I'm just blubbering away. But anyway, because of the Zack Snyder thing, we continuously talk about the Snyder Cut, and I will continuously talk about it. It feels like it's ramping up, unless that's my tinfoil hat persona talking. There was a couple things today. James Wellstein, I think is that his name, who was that Spanish dude who was saying that he's watched the Snyder Cut, and there was a talk that he was going to have a video. He had a video of him and Zack Snyder about that, and the dates that in which he watched it kind of coincides with Heroic Gateway's dates. Of course, Heroic Gateway group has said that they didn't watch it with a group of the 30 people, so that differs in that self. But they all both said they are under an NDA. There is an embargo thing that they cannot talk about. They can talk about watching it, but they cannot talk about details from the film that they've watched. Of course, a lot of people could say that that's actually just a cover-up of what they're actually saying that they haven't actually watched. They lied about it, and they're just covering up, said, I can't talk more because of an embargo, So that could be possible as well. Of course, my fellow follower who seems to go on every video of my Snyder Cut, Lord Paulus, has given us a lot of hope, and hopefully you're right, Paulus. I hope you're right that we'll definitely get the Zack Snyder Cut re-released in theaters. I think you mentioned this year. That is a dream come true, if anything. Hope that actually happens, but we'll see. We'll continue to see. We'll continue to look out, and if there's any more information about people watching it and things like that, I'll put it out there. But just be careful and cautious that we cannot believe these people 100%, because anybody out there can lie. Even though he has like 15,000 followers, this James Wellstein, and it's very interesting that if he did lie, that's a huge backlash. Probably lose all those followers. But if he's being sincere, then let's keep our hopes up, and hopefully he is sincere and he's not not ignorant enough to tell a big lie, and not knowing that there's going to be a huge backlash right now. I'm pretty sure he's getting all these DMs and tweets right now about it. So he's got the attention he needs. Hopefully he knows what to do with it, and hopefully he's right about it in order to gain that attention. But I want to talk about today. Zack Snyder did post on Vero today, and it was a picture of the Flash, and Flash looking at oh my god, I'm totally blanked out right now. Oh, Flash looking at Harley Quinn. And of course, that is the scene on the set of Justice League where he shot for Suicide Squad to have that Flash cameo. And so I don't know why there's a big picture of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn over there, but that's kind of cool. He's actually staring at it. It's kind of an interesting shot. And then below that, though, there was a lot more things going on, and I think he talked about someone mentioned the Russian family in the truck, and then he mentioned he put out a question and saying, "What Russian family?" So, and then they continued on about the Russian family. Then Zack Snyder replied again, and he says, "Seriously, what Russian family?" And someone explained the Russian family to him, and all he said was, "I see." So that is confirmation, even though we kind of knew. The Russian family subplot storyline was integrated into the movie by Joss Whedon or Geoff Johns, whoever was responsible for putting that in. And so that's what happened to that. So it's interesting, Zack Snyder. I don't know if he's jokingly knowing that there was no Russian family, that he actually have seen the movie, or like he said, he hasn't seen the movie, and he's pretty sincere about that. You would think his son or someone would told him what had happened. Maybe the son didn't even watch it either. I'm not sure. But apparently he didn't know that there was a Russian family there, and that is evident enough that there was so many different changes within the theatrical cut of Justice League. And then I kind of knew that it's kind of weird to have people there at that Chernobyl, I forgot what it's called, that place where it had Steppenwolf and all the parademons, because in the beginning with the history lesson, the parademons they were changing the people into parademons, they were dangerous, they were killing people and things like that. And then it's kind of weird that they're just guarding the houses, and the Russian families were able to fend their own with some bug spray and a shotgun, so it's like that doesn't make quite sense in terms of that storyline. All those people were just there. And then when you watch it carefully, you can see the Russian family. And then when the Russian family gets in a truck, all the people in the background running, those were all CG characters. They CG'd a population in. They CG'd the people on the building that Superman takes away. So all that was that whole subplot storyline. Take that out, and then it didn't belong there to begin with. It wasn't actually there. So it makes you wonder. It goes back to the story, and you wonder what happened. What exactly happened during that time when Flash ran off, or when Flash is running off during the trailer, and he's running back and forth and he's going through such a speed? What is exactly happening there? Why did he run off? Or where is he running to? That could be part of the battle, sure. That could be it. I like to think that when I'm watching this movie now, when I'm rewatching Justice League, and I want to look at a few things in here and there, you start to look at how this could have been Justice League Part 1, Part 2, or at least a giant movie, a 3.5 or 3 hour 10, whatever, how long it is. It's probably like 3 something. And it's kind of like how Seven Samurai, because if the intention was it's kind of like Seven Samurai, then you already know that Part 1 and Part 2 was together in one giant box set movie, and Justice League would have been the same. So if you look at it through that sense, and you're taking out the Russian family, and you're looking at it, and I see the Flash running off, and from stuff that I've heard in myself, I want to believe that was the intermission, in a way, from that battle, just where he runs off, and then because something terribly bad happens during the final act, and he's able to go back into time, possibly towards the Flashpoint movie, and then Justice League Part 2 will pick up when he comes back and then change the time, and it's kind of reenacting Justice League in a way, but in the favor of the heroes. So that's just my guess in any case of why a Flash went off. It's my what if, that's just my theory in any way. But it goes to show that all the stuff that was plotted in and ripped out it was so different. It's probably much different from what Zack Snyder had done. Even Jay Oliver seemed surprised, and Jay Oliver has been throwing more bombs by saying it was the five-part arc was huge. There was supposed to be a fifth movie after Justice League Part 2. It wasn't a solo film. He can't say what it is. It was 5 parts, and everybody's arc would have redeemed itself by the end of the fifth arc, especially Superman, because Superman started it in Man of Steel. I wish we could have seen that. That would have been a huge, epic, huge. I would get that box set. Put that on my shelf. That would have been incredibly cool if Warner Brothers had actually, honored Zack Snyder's vision and actually let him do what he wanted, ended his finite, like I said, finite arc, and then do whatever you want. You can reset the universe after that if you want, but at least let him finish all that. And Justice League was just a bunch of scenes thrown together. Now people are like, there's still people out there who believe that story that Zack Snyder had brought in Joss Whedon. Yeah, no, for real. I've seen comments. People are still believe that. They're like new to this right now. So let me summarize that. Zack Snyder did not bring in Joss Whedon. He did not tell him what to shoot. That's just a studio thing. John Berg and Geoff Johns just said that just to get their way. What they did was Geoff Johns and John Berg brought in Joss Whedon after Zack Snyder had got fed up, or maybe because his daughter committed suicide. So he took some time off. He left, and probably because they kept telling him to change this and change that, change this. I would have got fed up too, because I've gone through that in my life in art school and things like that. But so he left. Joss Whedon came in. He had this huge amount, a library of footage to go through, right? And so he looked through all this and he decided, I'll get this and I'll cut this and I'll put this over here. He rearranged the movie in how he sees fit. He even did things like compositing out characters and putting them into other backgrounds, like this scene where in the trailers we see Aquaman and Wonder Woman, what looks like to be in the warehouse scene. They edit them out and put it in the ending final battle scene. Things like that has happened. And what more has happened, especially the final battle where it looks like they're just being placed into 3D, CG'd areas. It's like they cut them out. They grab scenes in here and try to fit them together. And Joss Whedon directed additional photography like The Russian Family, like Thirsty Lois, and put it in place to make much more sense. He even I can't believe it, but he even reshot scenes that Zack Snyder had already done, and pretty much it's just a different camera angle, maybe a lighter tone in there, and for whatever reason, I have no idea. And so when you look at the people who are saying, well, that's not possible, because this is directed by Zack Snyder. It cannot have been changed this far. I'm not saying he didn't direct it. I'm sure Zack Snyder directed most of the scenes in that. It's just what happened at post-production. And Joss Whedon and Geoff Johns and John Berg, who was responsible for editing this thing, had taken out product that Zack Snyder had edited it, composited it in different areas, rearranged the movie here and there, scenes that was directed by Zack Snyder. It was just edited, thrown in different plot points of the movie, and they created their own. Cut out all this other stuff, added in Joss Whedon's additional photography. So the director is Zack Snyder because he directed those scenes, but it was edited and changed up by the Joss Whedon, Geoff Johns, and John Berg, and that's what Frankenstein monster we see at the end of this whole amalgamation of this calamity of a product, and that is so disheartening and sad just to see that. And I'm sure, being Zack Snyder, if he has not even watched it yet, but knowing tidbits from this movie from fans who are saying this, what is this, what's The Russian Family, it must be so confusing to him, unless he knows and he's in on it, but it must be so confusing to him to saying, you mean you didn't see this, or you didn't know this, or my overall vision wasn't displayed for us to see, at least a summarized version of it. That is that sucks. I mean, that I don't know what else to say about that, but that really, really sucks, and it sucks for us because we are the fans. We're looking to close out this trilogy of movies in a way. We might not get the 5-part story arc, but maybe we can actually get a summarized version of what Justice League Part 1, Part 2, and possibly whatever the 5th one would have been. However, he would have done it for this compromised Snyder cut that we may or may not get. Hopefully we get it, and I'm feeling more hopeful that we might get it, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, San Diego Comic-Con is right around the corner, but there's new tidbits every single day. I didn't think it's going to come out this much, but there's always something new every day. There's always something to talk about, and I'm actually happy for that. I'm actually happy that there's so much interest in the Zack Snyder cut, and I'm glad to be here with you guys. Tinfoil hat or not, tinfoil armor, whatever. But let's keep talking about it, and I will continue to talk about it because this is a great, great hobby of mine, and even though it's late at night right now, but I will continue to talk about it. So be on the lookout. So tomorrow, let's see what happens tomorrow, and let's see what happens the day after that. But continue to hope and continue to do hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Continue to let Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers Pictures knows that you want the movie that you deserve to get. You want the movie that Zack Snyder intended for us to see, and let's see what happens at that. All right, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.